الله 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 ما لنا مولى سوى الله 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 ما لنا مولى سوى الله.
العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن عدة الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا في كتاب الله يوم خلق السماوات والأرض. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: أفضل الصيام بعد رمضان شهر الله المحرم، وأفضل الصلاة بعد الفرائض صلاة الليل. وكما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام: رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful. Peace and blessings be upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nice to see everyone after a while. It's been about 2 months. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept everyone's hajj. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow whoever has intention to go for hajj, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow them to go again and again and again, inshallah. All the people who passed away during hajj, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the highest level of Jannah, highest rank in Jannah, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give their families patience. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give their families patience. Also, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase the ranks of the martyrs of Palestine. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the highest level of Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring a perpetual peace to the Sham in general. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove all the difficulties from all the Muslims around the world. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our blessings, alhamdulillah. We have been here peacefully, alhamdulillah. If you compare the hottest day here to the lowest temperatures in Makkah, so the lowest temperature in Makkah is in the high 90s, 96, 97 degrees. The highest here is maybe 95, 96 degrees. So when you come here from Makkah, the outside feels AC. So that's a comparison. So we are in paradise, quote unquote. We are in the lap of luxury, alhamdulillah. If you go to Makkah, if you turn on the cold water, it's still hot water. You turn on the cold water, even if you're in 5-star hotel, no matter where you are, 5-star, the top luxury hotel, turn on cold water, still hot water. So I'm thinking to myself, why do they have a hot water knob? You don't need it. It's all hot water. So that's what it is over there. And it's all, flat land and mountainous land, no greenery. We have all the greenery here, subhanAllah. We have all the seasons here, subhanAllah. So the people living in the West, especially in the West, so much luxury. We are living in the lap of luxury, alhamdulillah. So we should be very thankful. And when you go for Hajj, you actually value this. You get to realize this. Because in Hajj, technically you're stripped away from all the luxuries of life, right? So when you're stripped away, then you become humble. You realize what you have back home. Because in Hajj, you cannot pay thousands and thousands of dollars to wear nice clothing. You cannot do that. You cannot pay millions of dollars to remove all the crowd. Could you give the Hajj ministry, here's $1 million? Let me do tawaf alone. Let me do sa'i alone. You cannot do it. You can have all the connections, but when the police they stop all their cars from going to Haram, you have to walk. All the connections will not allow the police to let your taxi go. That's Hajj. So Hajj makes you realize everything that you have here, you're taking it for granted. It's all blessing. It's all extra. So may Allah give us all tawfiq to go for Hajj. It's like an eye opener. So if a person goes to Hajj once a year, he is good for I don't know how many years after that. Or if he goes every year, he's like based. You get back to reality. You get grounded every year. So it's a eye-opening experience. May Allah SWT give everyone that experience. And it's like a adventure trip. You know, you've gone hiking, right? We all look forward to hiking, despite all the difficulty. When you accomplish like a big mountain for a hike, you don't say that I don't want to do it again. You say that I want to go again and again. Despite all the difficulty, you want to do it again and again and again. So Hajj is in a way like that. That hardship has sweetness in it. And also, don't wait till you're super old to do that. Like, does a 60-year-old think of going to like an old drag hike, you know, in Shenandoah? Does a 60-year-old plan on doing that? No. Youngsters plan on doing that, right? So while we're young, we should make this plan on going for Hajj. We shouldn't delay till we're retired, because then what's going to happen? We'll be doing Hajj on a wheelchair. We'll be doing Hajj on a wheelchair. So we don't want to do that, especially people from the West. We are so unfit. We are so unfit. I realized that when I was doing the first Umrah, I was doing the Sa'i, and I was completely gone. Like, I was crawling, barely, basically. And I see people from India, Pakistan, old people with gray hair, white hair, high speed past me, high speed. Wow. That's when I realized that what's going to happen to me in my 60s, you know. But alhamdulillah, over the whole duration of Hajj, after all the walking, by the time it was the Tawaf al-Wida, I was also at pace, alhamdulillah. So that's what Hajj does to you. So may Allah give all of us the tawfiq to go for Hajj ASAP. That wasn't the topic. The topic of the day is Muharram. So alhamdulillah, we finished the Islamic year with the end of Dhul Hijjah, alhamdulillah. So we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us life to see that year. Also we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us life to see this new year of Muharram, right? Muharram began the new Islamic year, and we are here alive. So many of us, they passed away in last year, 1445, right? But we are the select few, alhamdulillah, who are seeing this month in the same Iman, alhamdulillah, and peace, right? And all the luxuries, alhamdulillah. So we must thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot. Now, regarding this month, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions that the most virtuous fast that you could do outside of Ramadan, he says, is in Muharram. So it mentions in the Shahrullah, in the month of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muharram, the most virtuous. So any fast that you do in this month, it's the most virtuous after Ramadan. It's like next level after Ramadan. So now, if you look at the explanation of this hadith, Imam Qurtubi rahimahullah, he mentions that, he says the reason why this month is the most virtuous. He says that for Nafil fast, this month is so virtuous because this month, when you fast this month, you are beginning a new year with the most virtuous of the worship. So among all the worships that you could do, right? You could fast, you could pray, you could give charity, you could do so many different types of worship. But if you had to rank them, the most virtuous of them is fast. So he says that you're starting a new year and this is the first month. Why don't you start it with fast? So you start the new year, first month, started with the best worship. So that's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions that this is the most virtuous Nafil fast that you could do after Ramadan. And also we know that this month is also sanctified, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created 12 months. So this 12 months is not a creation of human beings. We didn't stipulate 12 months. By the way, this is ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also ordained 4 sanctified months. And then one of the 4 is Muharram. So we are in that month. So now if you want to uphold the sanctity of the month, what's the best way of upholding the sanctity of the month? By fasting. Why is that? Because when we fast, we stay away from the sins. And to uphold the sanctity of the month, you have to do what? Stay away from sins. Like the way when you go to the library, how do you uphold the sanctity of the library? By not talking, by staying quiet, right? And preferably by reading books, right? Similarly, if you want to uphold the sanctity of this month, we stay away from sins. And what is a better way of staying away from sins than fasting? If you just fast, that makes it easy for you to stay away from the sins. Now, I'll just mention some hadith that just talk about the virtues of fasting in general. Because fasting is one of those worships that's very underrated. Outside of Ramadan, we barely see anyone fasting. So if I ask you to count on your fingertips, how many people that you know who perpetually fast throughout the year, like regularly, Monday, Thursday, right? Monday, Thursday. How many? I could count in my fingertips. I could think of one person. That's not me, by the way. That's not me. So how many can you count? Very few, right? Because we have forgotten about the virtues of fasting, all the benefits of fasting. So let me mention a hadith. In this hadith, Rasulullah mentions that no one fasts in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except, and Rasulullah is referring to nafil fast, okay? Rasulullah is saying that no one fasts the nafil fast in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala distances him 70 years away from Jannah, from the hellfire. So imagine. So now if you dissect the hadith, this person is already in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So he's already gaining reward. He's already gaining tons of reward by being in the sabilillah, fi sabilillah, right? So now if he wishes to enhance the reward by so much more, by 70 years, imagine how much reward it would take. Ibrahim, stop, sit properly, Ibrahim, sit properly. Imagine how much reward it would take to move someone 70 years away from hellfire. It would take a lot of reward, right? So this man, and just by one fast, he is enhancing his reward of fi sabilillah by this much. So that shows a lot. It's like, imagine like someone eating dal chawal, and then you put in a kebab in there. So does it enhance the flavor? It does, right? So it's like that. Fasting, nafil fast, that's what it does to you. Another hadith, I'll mention another hadith for you guys. Once the Sahabi came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Umama radiallahu anhu, he asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, says that murni bi amrin, that command me regarding some affair, tell me to do something through which I will benefit a lot. So then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions alayka bisiyam, that start fasting. This is nafil fast. Start doing nafil fast. And then Rasulullah mentions that فَإِنَّهُ لَا مِثْلَ لَهُ, there is no comparison to it. You could do anything else, but there's no comparison to nafil fast. So imagine. So someone is telling him that if you want to do something really nice that will benefit you a lot, take up this nafil fast. Start doing this nafil fast. So Muharram is the month. If you want to start up this nafil fast as much as you can, take up this month, at least Monday, Thursday, 13th, 14th, 15th. And you can add as many days as you like. Now if you had to restrict it to a single day, then it would be the day of Ashura, right? It would be the day of Ashura. So now regarding the day of Ashura, there are some things that can be mentioned. First of all, that's coming up on this Tuesday. This Tuesday is the day of Ashura, is the 10th of Muharram. Okay? So mark your calendars, whatever you have to do. So regarding this fast, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he first came to Medina, when he first moved there, he found out that the Jews were fasting. And then he asked them, why are you guys fasting? What's with this day? So then they said that on this day we were saved, we got salvation from our enemy. So then they were referring to Fir'aun, and they were referring to Fir'aun. So the Banu Israel, they were saved from Fir'aun on this day. Musa alayhi salam and Banu Israel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved them when they crossed the river, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made 12 pathways. Musa alayhi salam said, he said, Kalla ma'i rabbi, right? Said they were despondent that they're looking at the enemy behind them, and then the ocean, the river in front of them, and they lost it. You know, anyone would have lost it, lost hope. So Musa alayhi salam did not. He said, nope, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he struck his staff in the river, and 12 pathways came along, and all the different tribes passed through. So that's what happened on this day. So therefore, after that, as a shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Musa alayhi salam also fasted, and also Banu Israel fasted on this day. So there's another point to be noted. The shukr, like when you have to do shukr to someone, it doesn't just have to be lip service. Shukr could be through action as well. Shukr could be through action. You don't just say thank you. Like if you want to thank your parents, you don't just say thank you, you also obey them, right? You also listen to them. If you want to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't just say, alhamdulillah, but also we show it through our actions. So we could do some extra amal just to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are thankful. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would stay up all night praying, even though he didn't have any sins. And when Rasulullah was inquired, how come? Rasulullah said that should I not be a thankful servant? So he is doing actions to show thank. So we should do actions. Actions speak louder than words. So just by saying thank you, just by saying alhamdulillah, but at the same time we're disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's no good. It's the opposite. It's not being thankful. So here we could see that Musa alayhi salam also fasted on this day. So then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam found out. So then he said that I am more closer to Musa alayhi salam. He says that I am more closer and I have more right over Musa alayhi salam, therefore we will fast. So then he even asked all the Sahaba, you guys all start fasting. So then it became binding. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say anything to the Sahaba, because it's a command, then it would be further upon. Understand? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded all the Sahaba and everyone to obey Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam commands anyone to do anything. For us, like some of the things that we do, like nawafil, some of them were mandatory upon the Sahaba because they asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for something and Rasulullah told them do this. So then it became mandatory. So similarly, this became mandatory upon all the Sahaba. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unveiled the verses of Ramadan and fasting in Ramadan, then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that whoever wants to fast on this day, they can fast, and whoever doesn't want to fast, they don't have to fast. Then it became optional. It became sunnah. But before that, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam started fasting, it became farz upon everyone. So everyone started fasting like that. Then after Ramadan, towards the end of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before the second last year, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was informed by the Sahaba that the Christians and Jews, they're still fasting this day. They still fast on the 10th. So then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions that inshallah in the coming year, inshallah, I'll add the fast of the 9th. I'll also fast on the 9th so that I can differentiate myself from the Yahud and Nasara. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not like any resemblance in our religion to their religion. So wherever he could, he always tried to differentiate through whatever action. For example, Rasulullah told us to trim the mustache because they grew the mustache. He didn't tell us to trim the beard. He said keep the beard. They also keep the beard, but what you guys could do is trim the mustache. So that's another example. So even in the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did not like resemblance. So then he said to the Sahaba, that inshallah I will fast the 9th as well. So now with that in mind, with regards to the 10th fast, there's different levels. So I'll just mention some of the levels here. So the highest level, the most reward that you could gain is by fasting the 9th, 10th and 11th. Just fast all three, right? This was a fasted the 10th, this is intended to on adding a day. So you just add a day before and add a day after. So you have all three, you get the reward of all three, right? Second thing you could do, if you don't want to fast all 3 days, is fast the 9th and the 10th. Because this was intended to fast the 9th and the 10th. So you fast 9th and 10th. So if you cannot do that, let's say you missed the 9th, then Rasulullah, he intended to add a day. So you could add a day before or after. So what you could do is add the day after as well, since you missed the 9th. So you can fast 10th and 11th. If you don't want to do that, maybe you have a lot of work and you work out in the field, maybe it's very difficult. If you just want to fast the 10th, you could also do it. And the ulama mentioned that it won't be makruh. You leaving the 9th and the 11th, you're not adding another day, it won't be makruh. You'll still be catching the sunnah of Rasulullah. If you want to go above and beyond, so that day, the 9th, 10th and 11th will be the Monday, this coming Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, that's 3 days. And then you can also fast on Thursday, because that's also a sunnah. Okay, so then Thursday would be what day? The 12th. And then the Friday is the 13th. So you know the ayyamul bid, the middle, the white days. So the white days start on Friday. So you could fast on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So you can start on Monday and then go all the way till Sunday. Technically, they will all count towards sunnah fasting. So whoever wishes can take advantage. If you did all that, then I guarantee you that would be the most amount of fast that you will be doing outside of Ramadan. Unless you already have a habit of Monday and Thursday. So may Allah give all of us the tawfiq to do amal upon it. Now Rasulullah mentions also a special reward regarding the 10th. He says that regarding the fast of the Ashura of the 10th, he says that I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives the sin of the past year. So by fasting on the 10th, inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive the last whole years, the year 1445, that whole year's sin inshallah will be forgiven. And now if someone already has all of them forgiven, then inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him reward worth of that much amount, inshallah. And lastly, apart from that, there are some narrations that mention that on this day, on the 10th, if you spend some extra money, extra wealth on your family, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put barakah in your wealth the entire year. So anything extra you could do for the family, it could be just eating out, for example, on that day, or buying something extra on that day, just as a mustahab action. It's not fard, right? It's not at the level of fard or wajib. It's a mustahab action that you could do. And then the muhaddithun, they say that we have experienced this for 30 years in our life. When they found out this hadith, they started doing amal upon it, and then for the rest of their lives, they did amal upon it every year they experienced. So from the tajirba, from the experience of the muhaddithun, we could say that we should do amal upon it, because they have done amal upon it and they have seen barakah in their lives. So these are some of the do's, and then there are some don'ts. And the don'ts are that we don't do something specific for this day on the 10th, like cooking something special, like this, I don't know, this red pulao is on this 10th. We make it. This is our tradition, and this may be a sunnah. Then that would be a bidah. That would be a bidah. And every bidah is misguidance, and every misguidance can lead someone to hellfire. So we shouldn't do anything like that. Or wearing a special clothing. This red cloth of mine, this commemorates the 10th of Muharram. Couldn't do that, right? So may Allah save us from that. If we look at all the holidays, all the special moments in our religion, they have to do with events. They don't have to do with birth or death of someone. In our religion, we don't celebrate the birth of anyone. If we had to, we would celebrate the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? And even the Sahaba, they were great. If we had to mourn the death of someone, we'd mourn the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba. And every day would be a day of mourning, right? Or every day would be a day of celebration. But we don't do that. We only if you look at the celebration days, for example, the Eid we have, it has to do with an event. The event is Ramadan ending, so you celebrate. If you look at the Eid al-Adha, it has to do with the event, the thing that Ibrahim alayhi salam did, so his sunnah. So that event was so beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we also do, right? So similarly, even the Ashura, the event of the salvation of Musa alayhi salam and the Musa. So we can celebrate events like that as long as they are sanctioned by the Sharia. We don't celebrate the death, the birth of anyone, and we don't mourn the death of anyone. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give myself and all of us the proper understanding of our religion, and may Allah give us the tawfiq to increase our fasting. Fasting is an underrated amal that we have all left out. Only we do it during Ramadan and maybe in Dhul Hijjah and maybe one day Muharram. We should do more and more. There's a lot of hidden benefits of fasting that we are not taking advantage of. May Allah give myself and all of us the tawfiq to do amal upon it. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.